Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Okay. Hey guys, so I love seeing videos like this, like really old videos of really old people. So like you're going back as like far as you can to see someone talk and hear their voice describing a time that they lived through, this being like the 1860s. I'm so jealous of people in the like the future of history, if that makes sense. Like people 300 years from now will be able to look back now and see actual footage of people talking. And nowadays in like HD now, it's probably going to be considered really low quality to people hundreds of years now. But the fact that they'll be able to see very old historical figures talk and move around is just something I'm so jealous of. I really wish I could have seen Napoleon talk and walk and move around, and or George Washington or Jesus was real, right? Yeah. Or Caesar, and it seems like this is the breaking point. I think this is an enormous point in history, the early 1900s, late 1800s, when finally we can record through footage and see with our eyes historical figures. And I wish we could do the same for historical figures nowadays. Does that make sense? I hope that makes a little sense, or why I love these videos. So preemptive like, I don't get how I'm not going to like it. Man born in 1853 talks about childhood in 1860s. Filmed in 1932. Restored video. My name's Connor. Hi. Let's go. I don't know if he's British or American.
65 years ago, about 65 years ago, I came across the ocean from England to the United States, the family settling in Philadelphia. I there attended the public schools and the Boys Central High School eventually, but there was an interval between my attendance of one of the schools. It was not a direct succession. I was forced out of school at 11 to stay out 2 years because the entrance age of the Boys Central High School was 13, and I was only 11. So the problem was what to do with me during the 2 extra years. Well, some of the advisors said, keep him away from books and let him develop physically. I said, if you do that, you might as well kill me now, because I've got to have my books. So they modified the decision into saying, well, you can have them, all right. So I got hold of a book which was called The Magician's Own Book. A book telling of puzzles and tricks and all kinds of little things, chemistry experiments, electrical experiments. The electrical chapter.
I wonder if they were saying that, keep them away from books. I could be completely wrong here, but so obviously back in the 1860s, 1850s, 60s, you don't have television, you don't have, video games and stuff that people nowadays see as like, oh, don't do too much of that stuff. And back then, I wonder if a lot of books, more like fictional books, were seen as that to young children. And so is he saying like they didn't want him to go into books? Like to us, that sounds like, what? Why wouldn't you want him to go read books and whatnot? But I wonder if they saw that as like a bad influence on a younger kid before he gets to like 13. I might have not made sense.
Was what struck me at once. And they told how to make an electrical machine out of a wine bottle. And I immediately set to work and made just such a machine and started it in operation. And I got my first view of electric sparks from that machine, my first knowledge of electricity from that machine. And I made a whole lot of apparatus which is recommended to be made, like Leyden jars and little things of attraction and repulsion, dancing figures and so on, and I had that whole equipment, along with a stool which was made by bottles and the board for making the insulated stool in order to insulate a person that wanted to be charged, and we charged them. an arrangement of this kind, my father rather poo-pooed the magnitude of my efforts, and I thought I had to get even with him somehow. So I made a battery of 5 jars and put them into operation and asked him to take the shock. I never heard that. And put them into operation and asked him to take the shock. I never heard after he took that shock anymore. Derogatory remarks about my apparatus.
Oh my God. I'm surprised that I could, the audio was so good. I really didn't even have to read the subtitles on the right side. I can't believe I got to kind of laugh inside of a conversation that happened this long ago and talking about something that happened even longer ago. And this stuff is really special and I love it. Okay. I'm going to watch next Alexander the Great. All right. See ya.